I don't want to get high at all. I don't want to get high like you. I don't want to get high and get all fucked off, messed up, shitted up, and put out into the fucking street like some dumb motherfucker who couldn't stop to use. I don't want to be an addict all my life. I don't want to be an addict that just doesn't try. I don't want to be an addict like you that just can't stop because you're just too dumb to see what it is that you do. See, addicts like me are addicts like you. Yeah, we're all kinds of addicts because I'm talking to addicts too, more than just talking to them. I'm talking to me, who's an addict who's on the reprieve, who's found a doorway to pass through and found a way that I can choose, that I can believe that I can be an addict free. And now I have to fight for my life is what I do need to do, and that's not easy. But it's easy enough for me to say too, that if you choose to do the things right, it'll be easier than what you think it could be. It's true. But it's not going to be easy for addicts like me, like you, ones who still want to get high, because I don't want to get high like you. I don't want to get high at all. You know why? Because addiction fucked up my life. Drugs are a piece of shit, things I don't want to do. Made me high, I felt good, but then it was just a lie. See, when an addict doesn't know what they want to do, but they want to go getting high and can't choose because the addict life is what they do and the addict drug is what they choose to lead their life and to be their life and to know that there is no other life except the life that they maybe see around. But sometimes they can't even get out of that frown that addicts have when they're not really cool because they haven't had that shot, that hit, that thing that makes them cool, that thing that makes them feel they're not a fool. That thing that makes them feel like everything's okay, but there ain't nothing okay at all. Drugs are shit to me. Drugs are things that I can't fucking believe. I couldn't quit. Things are things that I couldn't fucking do because of that shit. Addicts are the ones that shouldn't do that shit. It's true. Nobody should do that shit is what I say too. And I'm not going to tell you what I'm going to do because I'm not the person who's going to tell you how to fix you, because fixing me is different than fixing you. Are you an addict that wants to get high, but you're an addict that wants to try to not get high? Then I say, I don't want to get high, and this is why. I don't want to get high because drugs are a lie. I don't want to get high because that shit fucked me up. I don't want to get high because that shit made me suck. I don't want to get high because that shit made me lose stuff. And that, more importantly, I don't want to get high because I lost things that I didn't know. I'd miss so much. I knew I'd miss them, but not this much. See, addicts lose family too. They lose their children too that they love. Sometimes they don't just talk to them anymore because, they just... Everybody may lose their children in an addict life for a different reason. It's true. Sometimes the drugs may just know that they can't do what a parent needs to do. And sometimes they just go ahead and say, I'm not going to be a good parent because I'm going to choose the addict way. That's how powerful drugs can be. But sometimes a parent knows that maybe they shouldn't be the fool that they don't need to be. So they choose to say, here are my kids, take them and take them to family. And then those kids are lucky. Yes, they are too, because their parents, they don't take them on that journey of fucked up them who makes them feel like they're the fucking piece of shits that they can be. But addict life is like that. It's a misery. It's a no-win situation. No, it's true. But when you're high, sometimes you don't feel like the fool. You feel like you can win. It's true. The one thing, too, about the addict world, which is the dope world, is that good people exist there. People are good. They are right. And they are people that can be understood. There are people that can have a good life. It's what I truly believe, because I've known people that have left that life just because they went beyond just a reprieve. Because when you stop using, that's your chance. That's your chance to be someone who has a blast at life, and knowing that what's true is life is worth it. It's worth it. Yes, it is. Sunshine, rainbows, all that shit. It can be yours and it can be a trip. You can look at the grass and it's greener than you ever saw. Man, it's lit more than you ever got lit because you quit. An addict can be someone who smiles a whole lot too because they got all that darkness inside of them that they knew was something that they shouldn't have done. But phew. I got past this shit and look at what I'm doing right now. I'm boring as hell, but I'm okay with that. Sober life's not boring. Nah, it can be for an addict who's just been extreme. But sober boring is way better than addict stress, addict gonna get fucking kicked in the head, gonna get robbed, gonna get stolen, gonna get kicked your shit out of you because you stole. Somebody's gonna run up on you and just steal you whole. Who knows? Sell your body parts to something, whatever. I don't freaking know. There's a lot of degrees of misery and addiction too. But misery is something that's universally true. And me, I'm smiling. I've been miserable before too. I've had that misery and I know what that misery is like. It's not cool. It's not cool because it's a place that I don't want to return to. It's a place that I don't want to live at all. I don't want to be. I don't want to have to exist because that misery is something that, well, it bleeds out to the people that we love. That's the worst part about an addict who's fucked up and can't stand his self being, well, fucked up. Self-hate, self-loathing, it bleeds. An essence of just impurity is true. An impurity that's not good for anyone that loves an addict to see or participate in just by being around them. It's true. Sometimes addicts give up their children just because it's the right thing to do. It's the right thing to do because they can't choose between what's right more than anything else when the child is the one that's pays the price because an addict just can't sell the idea of sobriety to themselves. It's a tragedy, but it's also something that's not forever going to be something you can't turn around. If it's done, it's done. Now what do you got to do? You got to look to the future and see what you can do. You can only fix what you can fix and try to make people whole that you didn't know were broken and were maybe broken and you knew for sure that you had a part in it. It's true. Addicts know that they're miserable and because they have those moments of clarity that we know. Addicts like me and addicts like you, addicts who know what I'm talking about, know it's true. They don't last, but they can last. Sometimes it just seems like impossible, a fantasy that it can last. We can't be happy all the time. No way. That's a lie, man. That's not me. That can't even imagine being that way. Or maybe you went through, maybe you got clean, maybe you went to rehab and you've seen what it's like to be sober and be that king or queen. Maybe you're the one who says, man, I love sobriety, man, and I'm going to sell it to everybody that I've seen. I'm going to reach back to some of my old bum chums, all my old buddies, man, the ones I got high with, maybe some. But it's not that easy sometimes to reach back there too. Because sometimes people say, don't do that, man, it ain't good for you. And they're right. It can be something that makes you fall back, takes you back, and maybe just, it cracks you in the head, and you're like, shit, I shouldn't have done that. I shouldn't have been around them because they were still getting high. And yeah, I know that they love me, but they're still getting high. And maybe they pass the pipe to me, not even thinking so, or maybe they're just like maybe not really into recovery or haven't even known a day of sobriety, or maybe they just don't know what recovery might be, and they may just not understand passing the pipe past me or to me. And say, just take a hit, it's cool, man. Or not, it's all right. Just the fact that you're around it, you're not strong enough, that can fuck you up. And that's why you got to be strong if you reach back to friends. And it's okay to reach back to them because family's got to reach to you. And if you're an addict who has a family member who's an addict too, that somebody says, hey, man, can you reach to them? Can you go ahead and help my son or my daughter or my dad or anyone? Or can you help your brother? He needs you. You know more about it than I do. Yeah, I've watched YouTube videos and I know a few people who talk about that shit, but I've never been face to face, day to day like you. Can you help me just get through to them? Can you help me understand what they say? Can you help me just to believe what it is that they say? That's what happens when you're an addict too. You lose your credibility, and it can be through and through. And you exist as a person in the past that's not you. You exist in a person that you know when you get sober, and sober when you really read it and want it and know it, it's going to be something that you believe when you say it. You know it's not you. That demon, that devil, that fucked up human being, that piece of shit that you feel all the time, maybe something obscene, something that you think you'll never be able to wash off all that muck, that dirt, that sin that you just carry because it's just freaking something that you can't because it just hurts. So down deep inside of you, you can't imagine what it's like for you to be refused anything but misery in your life because happy just can't seem to be something that you can ever get forever, permanently, maybe. Addicts die all the time. Now they got that shit out there that's worse than anything I've ever seen in my time. Fentanyl is bad shit. Blues are bad, but then there's all that white powder shit now. That white powder shit's going to kill so many people. It's true. People are going to die left and right if they continue to use that degree of severity of drug that's just way obscene high. That's wrong. You should be scared to death to shoot that shit up, man, because that's going to kill you. First time for sure. Second time, who knows? But addicts, they can get through. I was like, I've done it once, did it twice, I can do it 3 times too. Yeah, you can. Your tolerance goes up too. And then you're shooting up so much shit that the addict knew. Is looking at you going, man, you did all that shit, man. And that's that high that you got was way, way whack and good. Damn, I want to try a little bit more of that shit. And they try a little bit, not as big as you, but then they hit. They hit their shot. They take that shot, and then they feel, oh, something. I don't know what. I ain't never overdosed on opiates. See, that ain't my thing. I don't know what it's like, but I've seen. You just go blank. You just kind of just go, whoa. It's like time just stops inside of you. You don't look like you died. You just look a little bit like everything around you feels not a surprise. It feels like the engine just slowed so far down. It's now you're barely ticking along, and you're not going to hit the ground. You're going to fall and hit the ground. You're not going to get back up if you're alone, man. You're dust. If you're with somebody who doesn't know what to do, they don't have Narcan to help you, then you're the addict's going to die maybe if they don't call someone to help you. Yes, sir, E. People are afraid to call. EMTs are afraid to call 911 in their homes or anywhere to save someone. Maybe people do it. People save people all the time. And I got badass addict friends who have saved lives. More than one, more than two, more than three, just because they were there around there. Yeah, they did that. You know, what about you, non-addict? Did you do that? Nah, you didn't do that. But that's okay. I'm sure that if you were there, you knew what to do. You'd help save a life just like them. I don't know what it's like to do that. I had a friend that did it 6 times. Last time I saw them, when they did that, save someone, they just couldn't believe they had to do that. They were crying absolute disbelief that the people around them just didn't seem to give a shit about the life that just was seeming to just person was dying, and they're the one that saved them. And that's badass to me. If I get a little misty about shit like that, it's because life's important. That's a fact, and life's something that we can deserve to live. People like that are persons that I give a whole lot of respect to and love. Sometimes that actually they don't know, or maybe I just, I don't know. You're a different person when you get high. You're a different person when you get high. You're a different person when you get high. Me, anybody. Meth is the drug that that was my DOC is what they call a drug of choice. Makes you a different person. It does. Don't become a different person just want to just get high. Don't become a different person because you just don't know if you ever are going to lie. Don't be an addict of any kind. Just don't do it more than once, twice. Don't do it at all. Stay away from it. Don't even look and dabble. Don't even wonder why. Don't even think about maybe, will I die? Yeah, think about maybe, yeah, you'll die. Or I don't know what, man. If I say that I don't know why I choose to talk about addicts that I love when I feel blue or when I feel about me a little bit like I want to say, not new. I don't want to get high like I used to. Like I don't want to get high at all. That's what I say to you. If anybody ever feels like me who's an addict who's done the same shit that I've done or worse or less, it's all between, all over the place. Think about it. Don't do it. Do something else. Do something like I do right here. Think about something else. Find a cause. Find a reason. Tell yourself why. Tell yourself why. Getting high is a lie. Getting high is no good. Getting high is something you don't want to do. Getting high is something that you can say, thank God you talked to me, God, for telling me to do something different or do something for me. So I talk myself out of that kind of mindset that triggers or makes me crave that shit that I don't need. Don't get high. Don't get high. Don't get high. It's a lie. You'll be a slave. You won't be traded, but you'll be a slave to that drug. It'll rule your life. It'll take your love of life. It'll take your loved ones away. The most valuable thing, too, in your life is them. And it will take away your time, too. That's what you lose also, a whole bunch more than people might realize. You lose time. Time's the most valuable thing we got. You know, time's the thing that we can't get back. Time's the thing that we lose. When we're an addict who stay high, get high, can't sit sober. That's why. Time's a precious thing, commodity. No, it's the thing that we all have in common that we need to preserve as much as we can, because life's a joy, life's a treat, life's something that we should live strong, not weak. Drugs make us weak, drugs make us wrong, drugs make us want to believe things not right, wrong. That we can do things extreme, that we can do things not right. We're sinners. No, we're kind of mild sinners. No, you're a sinner too, but you're just maybe someone who knows sin too better than anybody else, and you can teach at the end about what's wrong so you can learn better than to sin again. Lots of joy, lots of treat, lots of wonder that I believe God gave us all so we can see the wonders inside of us all too that He made so that we would be the ones who believe in others too, the way that I choose to believe in you and you and you, the way that I choose to believe that people truly are good, and love is something that is the most important thing that we can give and receive. Period. Understood. Amen.